Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time I am playing as the Beastmen, and I'm going up against the Greenskins. Just before I get started here, just a quick sec, I just wanted to tell you guys, if you are not excited about the Wood Elves DLC and the accompanying patch, you don't have a heart. You're untouchable, you're unmovable, and you should probably talk to somebody about that. But seriously, I'm so fired up about it. I know I haven't talked about it a lot, but you know, I don't get early access. I'm not a big shot or anything like that. But as soon as I do get it, I'll be doing a ton of testing and a lot of content for you guys, and it's really going to be cool. So let's take a look at my Beastmen army here. I have 4 Bestigors as my center, and then on each side I have 2 Ungor Spearman herd that I've ranked up. So a total of 4 of those. In the back rank here, I have my 2 Gorbals. I have Malagor with the ability to summon a Cygor plus a Cygor already present, and a Giant. So 2 giant meaty folks in the middle. My opponent, the Greenskins here, he put these, I forget what they're called, but the Regiment of Renown Night Goblins up front. You see their name is still bugged. I hope they fix that. But he has them Vanguard deployed up front. He has 4 of the Squig herd. I guess he's enjoying them while they last, because they are going to be nerfed, and probably necessarily. They were quite powerful as they are right now. They're pretty ridiculous. Boar Boy Biggins. He's got 2 of those out on the other flank, and then his main line is 6 Orc Biggins. Behind that, he has Night Goblin Archers and the Rusty Errors, which I think pound for pound and you know, for its price is just absolutely fantastic. And then he has a Orc Shaman with the Foot of Gork, which is always fun to watch, but not to receive, and Grimgor Ironhide, the best. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now I have Defender's Prerogative because I've got artillery and he doesn't, so he's gonna get himself riled up here, wait for them to get into range, and then fire. Now I felt what he had brought here was really a really good build for what I brought, and I will definitely say, you know, looking at how things were laid out, I was a bit intimidated out, you know, right out the gate. I didn't fire at these guys because, as you can see, I cannot see them. They're little stocky jerks, so I couldn't see them. Got a little bit of a hit there on the Orc Biggins, kind of clipped them with my Cygor there, and it looks like he's going to go for a traditional, you know, attack where he's going to wrap around with his, I guess you can call them cavalry, even though these guys are just squigs, but yeah, and then come forward with his main body. And that kind of leaves me in I was not sure how to react to that. So what I decided to do was pull out 1 line of spears here, and then I'm going to do the same on that and go with the inverted V and see if we can't use that to not have to take any rear charges, really what I'm trying to avoid. But it leaves me very thin up front. You know, he's got 6 Orc Biggins, and I've got 4 Bestigor. Now, Bestigor are definitely more expensive and maybe a little bit better, but, you know, for the price, as I've said before, they're not a great unit. So this one gets way out in front of him, so I figure what the heck, we'll send the Gorbals in and then the Bestigors. And see if we can do some work there. The Foot of Gork comes down on this Bestigor unit. An impressive display, as in all my men went down, but didn't take that much health for the expense of the spell. I feel like, you know, I was fine with the result he got. He probably wasn't fine with that. So I got the Giant up here. I decided to pull back my Gorbals, because there's potentially 3 directions I'm going to have to send them in, and I haven't really made that decision at this point. Now I see that he also has archers, so I'm like, oh crap, so that's another thing I have to deal with, and I'm going to get the big boy chucking rocks at him soon. But you're going to see here, he's going to focus fire on my Giant, and look at him just melt. That's just 2 archers and you know, some Orc Biggins, and look at them absolutely annihilate my Giant. He's just, you know, he needs time to get things done, and he ain't getting any time. So over here he brings in his cav. I use the Gorbals here along with 1 of the spears. I had to push 1 spear up to keep my front line from being completely overwhelmed right out the gate. I summon another Cygor, but just as I do, he's going to get his giant Squig herd here into all my business. So that's a bad situation. I'm trying to pull the spears up to retaliate. I scared these guys off quick, but they're also going to come back quick. My left flank folded. His centerpiece here is untouched. My giant is dead, and I'm not feeling too hot about what's going on here. But I got the spears in here, and I've got the Cygor working on these squigs as well. I assumed they wouldn't be able to do too much damage to the big guys, but these archers are, and they're really making me pay for it. So I'm going to try to pull my Gorbals out of here now that the cavalry threat's been at least temporarily mitigated, and try to get into these archers. And I have a lot of trouble pulling through the biggins. With Gorbals, generally you don't have trouble pulling through anything. But biggins have pretty good mass and they're anti-large, so it's not a place where I want those guys to be. Now his archers have managed to kill a Cygor, and my spearman herd has run from his constantly scared but not scared enough to run squig herd here. He dropped one of my Cygors, so you can see the balance bar is going heavily against me. And right now everything I have is chain routing, with the exception of my 2 Gorbals, who are still trying to work the rusty arrows over. And then he's just going to dump a bunch of anti-large on them. So I'm going to swing them over here to hit these other Night Goblin archers. I'm just hoping that they can hang in there long enough to get stability back. And I'm actually going to have to use their potions early just to ensure that they don't rout. Because they're about to get completely surrounded here, and as you see, everything else is still running. Balance bar is going even more heavily in his favor, but we don't give up. I make a play to go after Grimgor here for a bit, and for the love of God, is Grimgor hard to kill, even for a Gorbal, and that's just not going to work. Him and his 186 melee attack and crazy armor and leadership, and he's just a tough SOB, as he should be. And that's not going to work for me. But finally some of my units start to recover, so I'm like, alright, well, he's all balled up, so maybe Cygor can get some damage in. And I'm just trying to get these guys back. It was smart of him to let this biggin chase these guys off, because he's actually keeping 2-3 units from returning. But the balance bars come back a little bit now that I got my Cygor back on his feet. Problem is the rusty arrows are absolutely bombing the crap out of him. But in here, my 2 Gorbals are holding up very well. I'm rotating, targeting infantry, targeting different squig herds and stuff like that, just trying to scare them, beat them up, and try to thin this herd a bit, because I'm at a huge disadvantage in this pile-up. So I get some spearmen onto the rusty arrows. Awesome. Now my Cygor is protected, and he can keep chucking rocks, which affects leadership as well. And now he's starting to have a pretty severe route go on, and we're getting almost back to where it's going to be a 50-50 as far as the balance bar. I accidentally pulled these spearmen off, but I noticed it right away. I send them back in. I've got the big guy aiming at his other archer unit here, but as the Gorbals get into them, I'll change targets to some of his infantry to try to keep them from returning. But essentially now he's having a chain route, and the balance bar says we're 50-50 at this point. I just have some spearmen holding Grimgor down. I have no illusion that they're going to be able to annihilate him or anything. I chuck in some Vestigor herd. Just want to work his health down a little bit and keep him busy, and give the opportunity for my Gorbals to knock these guys out, which they did. And now I want to get rid of this damn shaman. He provides leadership and magic, so he's got to be sent packing. Once he starts running, I send 1 Gorbal towards Grimgor. The other will be sent as well. I'm throwing rocks at his infantry to try to keep them from coming back, from reforming. It's working quite well. The balance bar is still in the middle, so suddenly things don't look so bad. For a while there, I was almost certain I had lost this quickly and in a decisive manner, but we turn the tide. Off goes the Orc Shaman. He's gone for good. And now Grimgor is running. And instead of just trying to hurry up and finish Grimgor, I'm going to take the charge against these guys, because I just want to be able to route anything that comes in as quickly as I can, supported by the Cygor here. Now I made an error. I have the Gorbal still working on him for reasons unknown, but I was so caught up in things and trying to keep the spear chasing those damn rusty arrows. It worked. They will not return. But he's got archers firing again, so I'm going to have Cygor try to take care of that while what's left pushes up. Now all of my infantry are out. They've had enough, so they abandoned my Gorbals. But the Gorbals are going to keep pushing. That rock just crushes the archers, and then nobody has the heart left to fight, and that results in a victory for the Beastmen. Again, I feel like you're a little bit of an underdog in this matchup. You know, Beastmen are quite good, but I feel the Greenskins are a little better, but we pulled it off. Barely. And it definitely looked like we were going to lose there for a while. But that's exciting, so it was fun. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. First I want to talk about the Giant. Generally, the Giant is a good choice against the Greenskins, because they're not likely to have a lot of missiles. But as you saw, and as I take a drink of water because my mouth's so dry, the combination of Biggins and just a couple of archers just wrecked my Giant. So gonna have to rethink bringing him along. My Cygor, this one didn't do as well. It was the summon one that had the majority of the kills, but I was pleased with what they did. But with as much cavalry as he brought, it's to be expected they weren't going to get a lot of time. But that Cygor I had at the end was absolutely clutch. A big part of the reason why we won, along with the Gorbals. So let's look at the Gorbals. 74 and 94 kills. If I didn't have them, this battle would have been over a long time ago. The fact that they were able to stay fighting when everything else ran and Malagor dropped dead is what kept me in this. So they were fantastic as always. I freaking love these. They're my favorite hero unit in the game, and one of my favorite units, period. The Ungor Spearman Herd, serviceable. They did all right. The Bestgor did well. And we already talked about the Cygor. So let's take a look at my opponent's army. Of course, I want to say good game. He brought a damn good composition, and he played it well. And it was definitely a privilege and a lot of fun to fight against him. Grimgor did well, and he did what he does. He provides the buffs, the Wah and the defensive buff and whatnot. And he does that for a long period of time because he's so darn hard to kill or get off the field. So he did well. The Orc Shaman was kind of a non-factor for the most part. I felt like that Footed Gork was not a good one. Later, when we were more blobbed up, he probably could have annihilated me with it. The 8-peak loonies were sent way ahead of their army and did nothing for him except for get butchered. His big guns did well. This one did extremely well. His archers, it's not reflected in the kills, but they killed a freaking Giant. They killed a Cygor. So right there's 3,200, worth of units that they did most of the killing on, plus hurt my other Cygor, plus killed some other people. These were his rock stars for the day. Orc Board Boy Biggins did not do as well as he had hoped. The Spears and the Gorbals were able to punish them. The Squig Herd didn't get a ton of kills, but the amount of disruption and making my Cygors not able to shoot or throw rocks, which would have allowed them to deal with the archers. These guys were very, very, very much a part of why his archers were successful and why my Giant and my Cygor bit the dust so early. So overall, a good build, a good job, a good game. What we like to see. No cheese, no dropping, none of that stuff. Just a good fight between two great armies. So if you enjoyed it, you learned something, or you just feel like being a nice guy, please hit like. Please subscribe. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.